Look at this avalanche of blank stars burying the ground. It represents the sheer weight of reviews we encounter every day. When you shop online, your instinct is to scroll right past the product description and head straight for what other people are saying. That exact same instinct kicks in when a buyer evaluates a B2B SaaS product. We all rely on peer validation before pulling out a credit card. When a brand claims their software will revolutionize workflows, the average B2B buyer is trained to look for proof. Elaborate marketing copy is inherently met with skepticism because it comes from the source trying to make the sale. If they head over to third-party platforms like G2 or Capterra and see your product page sitting there with 0 reviews, it's a credibility failure. It's the digital equivalent of hosting a party where nobody is dancing. Because modern buyers weight peer experiences so much more heavily than corporate messaging, building a system to collect those testimonials addresses that credibility gap directly, and you have to do it without sounding desperate. The foundation of gathering testimonials starts manually. You send a highly personalized, friendly email to a happy customer. You can also embed low-friction review links right in your company email signatures. From there, you identify your power users and transition them into a formal customer success program. You build case studies around them using a strict framework. What was the problem? What was the solution? And what were the measurable results? This is a timeline charting a typical user's lifecycle. It highlights a concept called timing calibration. When you send a review request dictates whether you get a glowing response or get left on red. You have distinct optimal ask windows and you have dead zones. Watch what happens on this chart when a customer hits their subscription renewal. The probability curve spikes. A renewed subscription is a strong signal that they are happy. For one-time purchases, you wait until they've had enough time to realize the product's value. The path branches here for freemium models. You target paying users first because their financial commitment makes them more invested in the product overall. But the free tier is also valuable. You can leverage the psychological principle of reciprocity. They use the tool for free and return the favor with a positive review. Finally, we drop a pin right here on the support ticket closed milestone. When a customer reaches out with a problem and your team fixes it, they feel an immediate sense of gratitude. Asking for a review right then capitalizes on that specific, dense window of opportunity. This turns testimonial gathering from a random marketing blast into a strategy focused on reaching users during their specific peaks of satisfaction. Even when customers are perfectly happy, writing a review still takes effort. To overcome that friction, you need to introduce ethical incentives. You might offer an extended trial month or a discount on the next billing cycle. Presenting these as a thank you ensures the incentive feels like a reward for the user's time, rather than a bribe for a specific 5-star rating. You can take this further by gamifying the entire review process. This turns a mundane favor into a psychological system that is inherently rewarding to engage with. This logic matrix illustrates a point system. Simple micro-actions like leaving a star rating yield lower points. Detailed written reviews yield higher points. These feed into a conversion engine that fills a progress bar toward a tangible reward. Once that progress bar fills up, the user unlocks platform badges. Earning a first review or top reviewer badge grants the user a distinct sense of status and achievement within your product. Those badges then feed into a hierarchical ranking board. Displaying a leaderboard fosters friendly, public competition among your top-tier power users. This generates a high volume of gamified user reviews. In turn, that allows your SaaS company to earn its own credibility badges and awards on third-party review platforms. Layering incentives and gamification alters your relationship with the user. You convert passive subscribers into an active, motivated network of brand advocates. Executing this matrix of timing and gamification does not require your marketing team to manually track every user's progress. This closed-loop schematic represents an automated feedback engine powered by behavioral triggers. When a user performs a specific action in your app, it sends a signal to a trigger node. That automatically fires the outreach node, which loops right back to generating public proof. As we zero in on the user activity node, you can see how this works in practice. The system tallies user milestones. Once a user successfully generates their third analytics report, it trips a digital wire to release the automated outreach email. Attaching requests to specific in-app milestones ensures the communication remains highly personalized. The automation triggers at the exact moment the user sees value, preventing the email from feeling like a generic blast. When timing, gamification, and behavioral triggers link together, the loop begins spinning on its own. Your current customers continuously generate the social proof needed to acquire the next wave of buyers. Building trust in a crowded SaaS market requires more than brand promises. It requires a steady flow of verified experiences. Setting up that first behavioral trigger today is what turns a silent user base into your most effective sales force. Executing this matrix of timing and gamification does not require your marketing team to manually track every user's progress. This closed-loop schematic represents an automated feedback engine. A user action signals a trigger node, firing the outreach node, and looping back to public proof. Zooming in, the system tallies milestones. A third report releases the automated outreach email. Attaching requests to in-app milestones keeps communication personalized. Triggering when a user sees value prevents generic blasts. When these elements link, the schematic loop spins continuously. Customers generate the social proof needed to acquire the next wave of buyers. Building trust in a crowded SaaS market requires more than brand promises. It requires a steady flow of verified experiences. Setting up that first behavioral trigger today is what turns a silent user base into your most affected sales force.